I kind of love when they do that.
Me
'Cause then I'm
too.
like, okay,
Yeah, right.
anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I got my coffee. I got everything.
Okay, not anyone else need coffee?
Hey, let's see.
Yeah, I eat food. Yeah. Eating healthy and very boring. I know, I'm like, oh, I'll grab, why am I so tired? I'll grab another coffee, I'll grab another coffee. And then I eat and I'm like, oh, I see. Like I learned that in health class. Food gives you energy. Crazy concept. Enjoy again.
Bye, Lee. Thanks. And we'll get started in just like 1 minute here. For those of you online, if you can't hear me or see my screen, just let me know. But yeah, we'll get started in just a minute. Oh. Heck yeah. Contact at, wow, so far so good. I cannot get this off. There we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. And to start off, I am Jules. If you don't know me, I'm the Market Center Tech Trainer here at Valentine. And if you ever need to book an appointment with anything that we go over today, or just anything with the KW Tech at all, you can always book a 30-minute appointment with us by going to kwbresources.com and clicking I need tech help in the top right corner will bring you right to our Calendly, so you can book a 30-minute one-on-one with us. But today we'll be primarily focusing on command and the campaign section of direct mail. So for command, we're going to, of course, sign in at agent.kw.com. And here we can sign in with our KW credentials. And we're going to do a few examples today. So the first example we're going to do is utilizing a direct mail template that's actually in the campaign section. So there's two options when we're creating a direct mail campaign, and that is either utilizing the template that's already in there by default with the direct mail, or we can pull in designs or Canva designs, for example, or anything custom right into command as well to be sent off. So we'll go over both examples, and then we'll also go over both examples of either targeting your database with a postcard as well as like a specific neighborhood. So first, we're going to start off with talking about the direct mail templates that are actually already in here, as well as targeting our database with these postcards. To start off, I'm going to actually go into the contact section, so I can tell you a couple tips when setting up your database to receive postcards. So of course, contacts with addresses are the ones that can receive postcards. So they do need to have an address attached to that contact. And we can filter by who has an address with that filter button near the top. So if we click on filters, this is going to pop up to the right-hand side. And I can actually click advanced in the top right to give me a few more options for filtering. So for this example, I'm trying to find all my contacts that have an address so I can see who can receive a postcard. Yep, it filters and then advanced in the top right. So now I can select the field. So for this, for address, right? I'm trying to find who all has an address. So that's the field I need. So you could type that in or search by that dropdown. And then for the second field, I can change that to is not empty. So primary address is not empty, and apply. right? So that's going to filter with any contacts that have a not empty primary address. So that's a filled in address. Now, based off how many contacts you have, you may be seeing a lot more than 13. And I always like to click that show 1 of 10. Sometimes it defaults to 10. And I like to expand that out to 500 so we can see 500 contacts at a time. So we can see that more easily. Yeah, right. That's the goal. So here's the catch with targeting your database with postcards. So command does want you to enter spouses, for example. They want you to enter into command them as 2 separate contacts. So John and Jane Smith, instead of having John and Jane Smith as 1 contact. And that's primarily because of DocuSign. So they do want each contact to have an email so they can electronically sign. So that's the primary reason. However, the integration with real mailers and postcards, it doesn't see those contacts as like 1 spouse. So when we're sending out a postcard, for example, and we have 2 separate contacts, but they both have the same address because they're spouses. However, if you try to then target them with a database or with a postcard, they would receive 2 postcards if you sent it to both of them.
So on the say under the 1 contact, what that 5, 3, found, they don't get 1.
Exactly. So the catch is with setting up your database for postcards, we do need to do a little legwork and homework to go through, this is my recommendation, go through and tag just 1 spouse or 1 contact if they're living in the same address as mailer. So this is the way I would go about doing that personally. So I would use this filter that I have pulled up here. So again, I have filter and I went up to advanced to have this pop up. So filter advanced, we're doing primary address is not empty. So that's the first step so we can see all our addresses. Hey, Mama. Your addresses? Yeah.
Well, I showed up those places.
Oh, wait, here, this might be why, but maybe. Hold on, we'll see. Next, you might not see your addresses, like your columns may look a little different than this. So you might need to go over to customize columns here and check the address column. So I've set this up by default to always show me my primary address. Yeah, so you might need to check it, and then it might default when you check it to the very bottom, so you still won't be able to see it unless you come over here to the 6 dots and drag that all the way to the front. I know, a couple of extra steps here. So we checked primary address and we moved it to the front so we can see all those addresses. And then the last step I'd recommend is clicking on that column name to sort by addresses. So it's going to, for this, top example here, it would sort spouses together, right? Because the addresses would be sorted. I'll go through these steps again, but our final step at this point would be then to go through and tag only 1 address. So if we don't want them to receive 2 postcards in this example, only 1 of the contacts needs to be tagged as mailer. So like if I have a ton of this address, I would just want 1 of them selected so they receive 1 postcard. So once I select the people who want the mailer, we go up to actions, add tags, and give that a mailer tag. Yes, and you create that, you can add that right in and click submit. Now, just a tip, if you've just gone through these steps, if you perform this filter, you have this filter added in here, you added the primary address as the first column and you sorted, you can create a smart view. And maybe you name that like mailers to review, so that you can easily pull up this filter in the future to go through those to tag. Does that make sense? For those of you online, does that make sense, those steps there? I can go through those again. But that is a a needed step if you want to save money for postcards so that houses aren't receiving 2 postcards. You do need to tag one of them as mailer so we can prepare a database for postcards. For those of you online, feel free to drop your questions in chat. Let me know. Sort, if you click on the column name, it will sort, yep, we'll sort those. All right. So now that we've prepared our database, in theory, for our postcards, that might be something you need to do as homework after today's class. Next, we're going to be primarily in the campaign section, which is going to be that megaphone icon on the left-hand toolbar. Now, when we click on campaigns, it's going to bring us to this overarching dashboard here at the top. But we can click over to the direct mail section here to see our quote unquote direct mail dashboard. So this will have any previous postcard you've sent out or drafts that you're working on for postcards. And then we can go up to actually create a postcard to send out. We can go up to create campaign in the top right corner. Ooh, actually, I'm sorry. Before we do that, I did want to go to the marketing profile so that in case you don't have your headshot saved on your computer, that we can grab that easily as well. So sorry, just going to jump here for 1 second. If you go up to your name and you go to settings and connect settings on the left-hand side and marketing profile, this is where all your information from command is pulling from. So here's your headshot, for example. So if that's something I'm going to want to add to the postcard, I can right click on it and save it right to my computer so I can use it on my postcard. And I'm also going to have access to my bio down here. So I'm just going to keep this tab open so I can easily grab from it when I'm setting up my postcard. So actually in a new tab, so to do that, you can right click on that campaign section and click open link in a new tab. We're going to come back to the direct mail dashboard here. And now we can go up to create campaign in the top right to start our direct mail campaign. So we're going to do create campaign and then direct mail as this option here for a postcard. Now you do need to give it a name and a goal, but no one sees this except you. So this is just for your organization purposes. And for this example, I'm going to do like a introduction kind of postcard. So I'm just going to use brand awareness as my goal here. But again, this doesn't matter. It's just for you. And then we can click create campaign in the bottom right to actually create that. Now setting it up, we're just going to go right down this list and try to get check marks next to each section to set this up. So we already did our overview. That just gave us a name and a goal. We can click on this content section to drop that down. And we have a couple options here. So like I said, we're going to do 2 examples today. But first, we're going to start off with this example for using default templates provided. So let's go ahead and keep that clicked. Now for the template options, they do have different kind of styles as well as sizes. So you'll see to the far right, it says what size that is as well. So of course, the bigger the postcard, the more expensive that is. And you can kind of click through them and start typing to kind of see on the right-hand preview what that is going to look like. And I know it's very much of a preview. So you can kind of play around with those styles since there's only 4 options here available for this specific example. So utilizing, let's say, the 4x6 example, we can simply type in what we want it to say as the text, and it's going to fill that in on the postcard on the right-hand side. So let's say we want this to say, looking to, oops. There we go. Looking to buy, sell, or invest. So we'll see on the right-hand side in that preview how that would display on the postcard. So that's where it's going to put it. You cannot change the font in this section. So very much this, using the default templates doesn't allow you much customization. So that's kind of the con with these. They're user-friendly to create, but yeah, very little customization here. Real estate expert. So maybe we want to say something like that, looking to buy, sell, and invest. We're your local real estate expert. We have a description part, and that part goes on the back here, right under there. And I'll show you as I type that in. Here, you might want to put a testimonial, maybe your bio. That's what I'm going to do for this example. So that's why I like to have my marketing profile open here so I can easily grab my bio. However, keep in mind, so I'm jumping back, that there is a character limit of 350 here. So it's actually kind of short. So you might have to simplify your bio a little bit, reword that to how you want that to display. But if you have this default, why choose me as your agent? This fits in perfectly. So I can copy that and paste it here. And just be sure that nothing is cutting off here. So it looks like that it's a little bit over. So I'm going to need to update this a little bit so that I am not getting anything cut off. Let's see, the system's in place to streamline buying your home and the backing of KW. All right. So on that right-hand side with the preview, we can select if we're seeing the front or the back. However, do keep this note in mind. It's not an official preview. So sometimes I do see like images are like shrunk or scrunched up sometimes, but then I get to the final preview and it looks fine. So I would just kind of use this as a visual guide more than an actual official preview. And we're just going to move on down. So I filled out the text. So now I can upload a photo right from my computer. So for this example, I can upload my headshot right to this postcard. So I did save that from my marketing profile. So now I can easily add that right in. And I can see that on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Oh, thanks, Mom.
so right there on the right, it says QR code. You can make a QR code for this too.
Kind of. So this is kind of old. This is older because it's talking about tracking it with landing pages. And on the new KW sites, there actually aren't any landing pages. So this is a kind of transition period for command in this section. Yeah, there's no landing pages to connect that to with the new sites. Yeah. So scrolling down, this is pulling right from our command marketing profile. However, you can always update for the formatting, how you want that to display. If you want that with dashes or dots, feel free to adjust that there and click save. This pops up every single time I try to utilize a template in there. I've never had a low resolution photo like print out. I think they're just trying to cover their butts by popping this up. As long as that final preview, and I'll show you where we're going to see that final preview, as long as that looks good and it's not blurry, it's not going to display blurry. This is just more of a warning message. And click use image. All right, we got a couple checks up there. Moving right along, we're going to go to the market center information. Now this section you always have to fill out no matter what when going through the direct mail campaign. But go ahead and just put in our market center information here. Click verify address. And luckily it allows us to confirm the corrected address right from here. All right, moving right along. Targeting. So like I said, there's two examples that we'll go through. So one is local targeting. So based off a geographic location, we'll do that next. But there's also an option to target my database. So if I click on that option, I'm going to be able to add contacts from my command database. And it won't allow you to add anyone without an address. You'll see those are grayed out here. However, if you have optimized your database for the postcard send out, we can search by those easily by searching by that tag that we set up. Right? So now we can search for that mailer tag and select it. And then do select all to select all the mailer contacts to this campaign. Click Save. Lastly, will be the budgeting. So of course, that's the quantity is based off how many contacts we're targeting for this example. For 4x6s, you only get the option for first class, but you'll see that if you do a 6x9 or a 6x11, you do get a standard or first class postage option. And the difference is just the timing that it sends to them. So standard sends out in 7 to 14 business days, and first class sends out in 4 to 6 business days. But again, since this is a 4x6, we don't even get a standard option. We only get first class. So we can click Save. And then we can just click Preview and Payment in the top right to really create this campaign. And this is where it's going to prompt for our card information. And this is where this final preview that I recommend checking out will display here. So this is that preview to check out. And if you wait for it to load, this view a larger preview will display. So you can click on that and make sure. So this is how exactly how it will send, including all the crops. So there is a 1/4-inch bleed. But this is displaying, including the bleeds, so including everything cropped. So if anything's cut out, this is where you'd want to fix it. And it even displays where the postage is going to display, which is that bottom right. And just make sure nothing is cut off in this section and all your information is correct. So here's the final preview. We can download this to our computer to make sure. But then at this point, we can put in our email and our card information and order that out. Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah. Any questions on that example there? I can redo any steps, walk through that again. Anything?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. Yeah. That's a great way to show up right at their mailbox, you know, talk about they have no idea you're targeting them and they're like, wow, she's in my mailbox. So a really cool tool right from command. And with direct mail campaigns in general, like postcards are coming back in a really big way ever since, like, you know, post-COVID, people want to come back to like the physical mailers. So the ROI on postcards have increased, which is a great
Yeah,
stat.
are there any statistics on person putting in a mailer box, which I know, obviously. Doctor.
Like us door knocking.
No, I mean,
Oh.
as far as, you know, just putting in a mailer, like in the bottom box, rather
Yeah.
than the mailing them physically,
Right.
far less, right? Or, you know.
Oh, I don't. I would think that.
Far less, right?
Yeah, in the mailbox, you know, you're really checking through.
Right.
That's why, yeah, and that's why I really like for postcard size wise, like recommendations, like I really like the 6x9 option because, you know, 4x6 can very easily get thrown away and just shuffled into your mail. So that 6x9 is not too big and not too small where they kind of gets, yes, right.
Oh, did you
Like for
volunteer
this.
to do that?
Well, I'll show you now a more customized like way to go about postcards as well. So now for this example, we're going to start in designs. So that's going to be the paintbrush icon on the left-hand toolbar. And this time we're going to make a custom design from the section. So when we go to designs, this is going to pop up with any designs you're currently working on. So don't worry if you have nothing here. We're gonna go up to create design in the top right and print to see our postcard options. So there's actually a bunch of really cool postcard options in here. One that I'm going to use that as an example is this neighborhood snap. However, like any of these sections that I'm looking through, like let's say lead generation and market expert, for example. Well, that was a bad example. Yeah, lots of good stuff. And what I'm like clicking, and then up at the top, I can see the different sizes available in that category. So for postcards, you know, whichever category you're in, you can click on that category and then click on standard postcards at the top. And that's going to filter for any of those postcards, like size-wise. Now for this example, I really like these neighborhood snaps. So where I am, I'm under listings. And then, yep, neighborhood snaps. And then again, these sizes at the top, I'm going to click on standard postcards. So I can just filter out for the postcard sizes.
You make that bigger afterwards? Okay.
Yes. So just for this example, you're just clicking on basically like the formatting of that, but all this can be changed. So go ahead and just click on one of them to start using it. And now we're going to edit this postcard. And it allows a lot more customizations here. So starting with text boxes. So clicking on a text box one time will allow you to change things like the size, the color, the font, all those items by clicking once on the text box. Clicking twice will actually allow you to change what's in there. So let's just do like Valentine Country Club, for example. So again, clicking on a text box once will allow you to change things to like the formatting. Double clicking will allow you to change what's actually in there. With images, I may suggest clicking on images first, because I think if you click on an image, it should move you to the images section of your toolbar in case it isn't already. But within your images section of designs, you can, so when we click on that, there's like this little toolbar right next to it. So you can click to add images right from your computer. So if you have any, you know, personal images you want to use, you can add that in.
Like your own photo.
Yeah, your own photo, like your headshot. If you want to add your own listing photo, if you have a nice house, you want to add in your own, you can add that in. But you also have stock images right from command. So let's say you want to look at a luxury home maybe instead. So why I recommend clicking on the image first. So you'll see if I hover over this image right now, it only has this plus icon option. But if I click on an image first and then hover, an additional option appears, and that's the replace icon. So that it allows me to add that to my design without having to like resize it. So for example, if I just added it without doing that, it's going to add it like this. And I would have to then like use these dots to resize that to where I want it. But yeah, that replace option makes it a little easier. I don't know why it looks like that though. Okay, hopefully that will load. Is it me or is that blurry? And sorry, that was fast. So like with images too, if you double click on an image, that will allow you to crop that. And clicking done on the top then will like save that. I know it's a little blurry. I don't know why it's doing that. Are they all like that? Well, play with that option and see, is anybody following along? Are you getting like blurry images when you're adding these? Because it seems like we might need to manually add it to.
look right.
It doesn't look blurry?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. I think it's just me. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's like images, so we can easily add those stock images in. Now, this section here is actually a lot easier to create than it looks. So my favorite thing about Commands designs versus like Canva or any other design platform is that it's actually syncing with the MLS. So the KWLS section, if you click over to KWLS, first it allows you to search by listing. So if you are creating a specific listing postcard, for example, you can search by that address, the MLS number, whatever that is, and pull in all the images, all the details right into this section. But we can also click on snapshots right next to listings here. And we can do this by neighborhood name as well and postal code. Good. So let's do Ballantyne Country Club. And search. And perfect, we're gonna find the Charlotte one. And if you click on that drop down, it's gonna create this graphic for us.
So you create the number two that you found 185?
Yep.
What's that? I can't read the small, what are those numbers? What they bought it for, what they.
It's average listing price, average sold price,
Okay.
total active, total pending, average days on market, and average listing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so right, we just typed in that neighborhood name. We clicked on that neighborhood to create this graphic here. And then if you click on the graphic first, that replace icon will pop in so that we can click on that and easily replace that in. Now those numbers are pulling from Nextdoor, like that neighborhood app. So that's where the numbers are pulling from. You can always check on the numbers, let's say if they're incorrect by anything, you can edit them kind of. You would have to kind of do a workaround.
Like, why does it say NA?
So this is kind of common to see, especially with like North Carolina neighborhoods, because Nextdoor like is, all over the US, like Chicago and New York neighborhoods look a lot different than like our neighborhoods here. So because of this discrepancy, I do see this sometimes.
So we just put in our.
Yeah, so here's my workaround.
Get the price on that.
Yes, so yeah, you can perform a quick CMA and make this number yourself. Now, how to edit this, it's a little of a workaround here. So you can't actually edit anything in this graphic. However, I could cover up this NA with a shape and then type over it kind of, and I'll show you kind of the steps here. So utilizing shapes near the top toolbar here, we can click on it. Let's just bring in a rectangle and cover up that NA. I know, right? Big workaround.
I had to do it one more time, I'm sorry.
No worries. No, we're gonna go, like if you're like clicked on a element within here, you're not gonna see this option. So you do need to click out, like outside of this design to kind of get more options up here. And then we're gonna click shapes. Yep. Yeah, put your face and be like, yay. Yeah, I am. So then with this text box, right, we need to change the color so that it blends in. This is the fill colors up here. So this white box, we can make it black. The color right next to it is like the border color. So we do need to make that black too. And then when you click out, you'll see, right, that covered up the NA. At this point, then we can add a text box. So you can we could either like cover that full section and just say, let's just put the average list price on there. Or if you want average sold, we can just add in a text box instead. So a few ways, go to text over here, add that in, probably a subtitle. This is just a sizing difference. We would want to make that white so we could see it. And then we'd want to put in that number, whatever it might be. It's really big. So again, clicking on an element once, we can change the size of that font right up top. And double clicking will allow you to change what's in it. So we can kind of play around to see what size we want that to be so that it matches with the rest of the postcard. And that looks pretty good. So, yep, that's the front of it. So in the bottom right, we'll see pages. So that we did the front side. We can click the side too to fill out the back side. So let's fill out our name up here by double clicking in the box. Ooh. And if you ever make a mistake and you'd want to go back, one, you can click undo at the top of the page, or my favorite keyboard shortcut is Control Z, and that will undo as well.
Where do we get, I guess I just call it, like, what it says about Bartonville and stuff.
Yeah, maybe like your kind of analysis of the neighborhood of like based off the numbers, how you feel about it, like as your expert opinion. You could also put your bio on the side or a testimonial as well, just a couple different options. Maybe some verbiage about the local real estate market, interest rates, really feel free to get creative in this section, especially trying to think of what can I provide most value, with this section here, so they keep it. Yes. I really like that option. So she said like upcoming local business openings or restaurant openings, and that really does, brand you as a Charlotte expert, a local expert, while providing the value. You want to try to think of anything that would make them keep this postcard. That's the goal, so that you keep showing up. Oh, sorry, I see you in the chat. Oh, yes, thanks for hopping on, Terry. But yes, so we can double click on this text box. Let's go ahead and update our contact information right here. Juliana May. We can double click here, put in our phone number. Double click, put this in. Your app URL. Oh, I meant to show you this earlier. I'll take you back here after this as well. So with your app URL, you may have that. So under each section, you'll see a My Assets section. So I'll show you where to find the assets section after this. I meant to take you there first. But what that is a spot that you can add all your most commonly used information. So your phone number, your contact information, your bio. You can add in like your headshot. So anything that you would be commonly using in your design section, we can add it to a certain spot in command so that you can easily grab from it in the future. Yeah. So for example, my app is in my assets, so I don't have to go find that. So I can click on that app URL, come over to text, and I'm under my assets. Same kind of thing with the replace image. I can replace the text, and boom, it just adds that right in. Yeah. So same with image. I can go, when I click on it, that headshot image, it brought me right to the image section. And if I go over to my assets, I know I have my headshot in here. So I can click to replace that, add that right in. With all designs in command, they all have this KWDBA name logo in it. That's because other market centers require the KW logo on every single marketing piece that they post out. Our market center is not as strict. I know we do require the KW logo on all like listing posts, definitely on all print posts, definitely. But I'm just talking about like the design section as a whole. So for this DBA name, so when you click on it, that should bring you to logos. And for one, you're in the workspace, you do have access to all the KW logos right here. But under My Assets, that should be pulling from your marketing profile. So you should actually have our Market Center logo in your assets already. So that we can, again, if we click on it and do replace, that's going to actually replace it. So we don't need to resize it. It just adds it right in.
So if you add on just, say there's a certification, so to add all of your assets.
It will display like under, like anytime you click on a section on the left-hand toolbar, you'll see always a My Assets section. So that's exactly where it's going to be putting that. A lot of your assets are pulling from your marketing profile, but you can add additional ones in there, and I'll show you exactly where.
If I had another website or a link, like I have a realtor.com
Mhm.
website, I could add it.
Yeah, you could add in any text that you want to use so that you can easily add it to the design so you don't have to remember what URL you have. Yeah. Now for compliance with print marketing, I'm jumping to the KWB resources site here because that's where I know our compliance guidelines are. So under office resources, advertising guidelines. Goodness. Here are our guidelines right here. So this is the main one I know. So it's all printed materials. Need to have each office is independently owned and operated. So that one's on the postcard, I saw it. But this one I a lot of times don't see on every postcard or like design and command. And this is for our market center that we need for compliance on all postcards. So I do want to make sure we're all aware of this. Yeah, any print material, flyers, business cards, everything, I guess, is.
You and
this-
KW resource, right?
Yep, I'm at KWB resources, office resources, advertising guidelines. Yeah, this is a main one I keep in mind, especially for postcards. So I'm just going to copy this statement here and go back over to my postcards. So at the bottom left, I see my each office is independently owned and operated. I'm just going to add it to that section so I can double click on that text box to start typing. And I'm going to do Control V to paste that in. So if that happens with a text box, we can click out of it to see those little dots on the end. So we can expand that out so that nothing is getting cut off on the bottom. Just like so. Expand that out so we can see it all. Nothing's getting cut off. And then again, we can like edit this information with whatever you might think. Maybe you just want more information about the neighborhood, about the local market. For this example, I'm just going to leave this part here and change this section to Ballantyne Country Club. Oops. Oops. Country Club. All right, so we've made our design. So do we all feel comfortable with like editing the design, how you would edit the font and everything, so we can have the script in there that we like and everything like that? So now that it's time to download this postcard, there's a couple criterias we need to know. So we can go up to this download icon in the top right. And we're gonna want to change this to PDF for printing. So we do need it as a PDF, but the PDF for printing gives us the highest quality option. So change the option type to PDF for printing. Leave all the bleed settings. The only other setting we need to touch here is instead of selecting all pages, we do need to download this one page at a time. So we're going to deselect all pages. We're going to do page 1, download. And then wait till that downloads. You'll see it pops up here once it's downloaded here. And then we're going to download the second page separately. So we're going to make sure that says PDF for printing. Perfect. And then deselect all pages again and now do page 2 and download. So we want to download those separately as PDFs. Okay. Now that we have it downloaded, we can click done in the top right, and that should bring us back to command. So for one, I would see my design that I just worked on right here. So I can, if I want, at any point, make a copy. So if I want to do that to a new neighborhood, I can make a copy and not have to change everything out. I have all my contact info saved. Exactly. So now that we've created our postcard in designs, I've created in designs, I can go send that out in campaigns. So let's go to campaigns, a megaphone icon. I, again, always like to go over to my direct mail dashboard just to see anything I have going on. We can go up to create campaign in the top right, do as direct mail, so this is a postcard. Same step here. We're gonna give it a name and a goal just for our sake. Valentine Country Club. Let's do farming. Brand awareness. Create campaign.
Does it really matter what we choose?
No, not at all. The only difference for goal is if you choose to advertise a listing, it's going to give you an extra field to put in the listing address. So it's going to target that listing.
I see.
So that's the only other. So go ahead and click brand awareness. And then same kind of steps. We're going to try to get check marks next to each of these fields. So let's drop down content first. So instead of the default template that we did the first time, we're going to actually click over to upload a custom template. So this section in general, if you're creating a postcard anywhere else, like in Canva or anything like that, these are the exact like criterias or requirements that Command needs for your postcard. So you can always find, for example, if you want to make a 4x6 postcard in Command or in Canva, you would want to do a custom size of 4.25 by 6.25 for their bleeds. But that this page brings you all to the instructions of like the PDF format, front and back are separate files, all those things that we just did. Here are all those instructions. And then here is where we can actually upload the front and back of our postcards. So this is why we have to download them separately, because we're going to click on Browse. We're going to upload the front from our computer. Well, I don't see the Market Snap on there. But just moving along, maybe it's in the final preview. I'm going to do the back and upload that in there and click Save. Okay, so now I've got a check next to my content. Now I can move to Market Center information. Again, you always have to fill this out. Yeah, you always have to verify the address. So it's always going to pull in our exact address for us, actually. So we can click to verify to save it. Next is our targeting fields. So the first example, we did target my database. Now we're going to do it by local targeting example. So you do need to know one address within the neighborhood you're trying to farm. Sometimes I just like look up the clubhouse address. If I really don't know an address in there, I'm sure you can find an active listing in the neighborhood you're trying to farm. I don't have an example address, so I'm just gonna what I know. But right, we would just put in the address of the listing within the actual neighborhood that you're looking to target. Then click Save. Now for the budgeting, you can edit this a little further on the next page. So I'm just going to leave that as is and show you what this targeting looks like by clicking Configure Targeting on the top right. So this is where things get fun. So this is where we're able to select who we're targeting here. So again, this is based off an address. Let me zoom out a little so you can see it better. Well, I don't know if I can. But you'll see that address you're targeting right at top. You can change that if you're looking to target a different address. By default, it's doing a radius of the closest 200 homes. So this is, those dots are pulling all the homes that it's going to send to. And by default, it does a radius of 200. So you can change this number right here. So let's say I'm wanting to target 300 homes instead. Changing that number will then expand that now to the circling 300 homes around that address. You can filter by a certain property type, the number of bedrooms. So if you're really trying to get specific with your targeting, this section does allow for it. You can also draw around a certain neighborhood. So again, by default, it's by radius. So we can change the size, the number of homes targeting and by radius, and it's going to pull all those homes in. And if you see at the bottom left, it's going to change the total amount. So it's always changing that cost based off how many homes we're targeting here. We can draw around a specific area. So let's say we just wanted to get this area right here. I'm clicking and dragging around. I have a really hard time usually with draw. So yeah, with draw, that can be a little finicky, but you'll see when I draw around that area, it's going to change that number of homes that it's targeting and the pricing at the bottom. So that's the amount that you're targeting here. If I scroll up just a little bit, I can reset this as well. I really like the polygon tool the best. So this is just basically I think an easier way to draw around an area. So this allows you to like click, to change directions. So if we really want to, so every time I'm clicking, it allows me to change the direction of my line so that I can really target more streets. And I think that's easier than drawing personally as well. Right, and this is targeting 90 homes I see, and my price changes too. So you can hover over it and it's going to show you some details. So if you're trying to, like, for example, remove a specific address, let's say you really don't want to target someone, you can like hover over their address and click remove, and that will remove it from the targeting.
What?
Yeah, that was.
Like, you don't like the neighbors.
I've gotten agents, yeah, request that.
Some real estate agent, you don't want her to receive it.
Yeah, I've gotten that request before. Remove an agent that lives next to me. So yeah, that and this plus and minus will allow you to like zoom in and zoom out on this map. And again, you can filter by certain things. Here you can choose this postage for how quickly it gets there. Again, with 4x6s, you only get the first class option. But if you do any other size, you do get a standard mail option. I always like to check this checkbox here. So send a copy to the company address. That will send a postcard right to our office. Then you can see, you know, when everybody's receiving it and what they're receiving. So I like that option. Yeah.
So say we want to target like New York, a city of people coming here. Can we do this?
Yeah.
So another city and just have them put that too?
Yep. As long as you have an address, wherever that is in the entire US, you can target your postcard to. Yeah, any address in the US, it can target anywhere. Yep, and then we can move us right to next. So if we click next here, it's going to bring us back to this preview. Again, I always click view a larger preview to make sure nothing's cut off. This is showing exactly how it's going to send. See, that happened. It didn't pull through. Huh. Okay, well, yeah, resave that part and make sure that works. And make sure you're seeing it here because we don't want it to send with that. And then it will break down, you know, your order right here on the left so we can put in our email and our card information and send that right out. Also, just an additional feature here, there is a schedule launch for a later date. So let's say you wanted to schedule out for the entire year. You can sit down and once a month, schedule these out. It won't pull the money out until it actually orders the postcards. So like cost-wise, it will just send out once a month or take that out. But yeah, you can schedule that out for the entire year because, you know, the statistic on farming is typically 6 months. Is that, you know, lucky number of how much it takes to show. Yeah. Thank you. So
Say 7 to 9, but it's probably shorter now.
well, no, it might be longer, but yeah, so trying to stay consistent with your postcard because I'll hear a lot of agents will send out a postcard once and then get no return the first time and then stop. Well, you kind of wasted your money at that point because it's all about consistency. So make sure you keep up with it, whether that be door knocking. It doesn't have to be a postcard, but wow, what an easy way to do so from command.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Me too. I would, I would
Yeah,
too.
well, door knockers that you can just create, and one of the agents did that, one of my group, I can't remember who it was, but they look really nice. So they look pretty nice. I don't know
What kind of paper?
Canva.
You did it on camera?
I don't know which.
There are door hangers in
So the
here.
door hanger thing here, so it'll just come printed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think you do have to like order it through like commands section here. So like I went to door hangers and if I use this design and I edit it or whatever, there's an option to print from like order print. at the top right. So I think you would have to order it like from,
Oh,
yeah, like from the design section.
makes sense. Or you can take a PDF and take it off this.
Yeah,
over.
that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you printed individually before, when you printed at home, did it print on one as one?
Like before when we did it.
Yeah, when you printed the postcard, you said you had to print them individually.
So save them individually. And so when we do set this up in Command, Command does the printing and postage for you. So you don't print like at that point. Mhm. And put it in
So it's
Command.
just going out, ready to go.
Yeah, postage, everything. That
That
is all
you
part of
order.
the pricing.
And-
Yep. Yeah, this is, yeah, different. Cool.
I'm gonna use this because I went to a training in Canada the other day. And he was talking about how he went to, how we can go on to the site and you could see like Target, okay, top cities people are moving to. North Carolina's one of them, right? And then you can target, and then it'll show you where they're moving from. And so now that you know that they're moving here, from there, you can create advertisement and have it
I'm
in
excited.
that city or wherever
That's awesome.
to have.
Yes,
Everything locked
great,
off.
great point.
Contacts from.
Yes,
Place.
since you can target anywhere in the US, you can actually use Command, and that might have been in the MLS, but Command has a similar feature. So in the referral section here, if I go over to map, so referrals, map, and then I change this to referral patterns, I can see who is, sent. So who is moving to hold on. Received versus sent.
That's cool.
Oh, this is
That
to Austin, Texas. Hold on, let me. So yeah, this is showing who's moving away, like where they're moving away from, and then where they're moving in from, or the opposite.
And what do we do?
So under referrals, map, and then you do have to select referral patterns from this drop down. And then this, where I'm clicking here, is like, this is who's sending referrals versus like who we're receiving them from.
Gotcha. So where they're coming from and then where they're going to.
Yeah, so we can see that the most people right now are coming, like, and this is like KW specific, so it's
Right.
talking about referrals within KW, but still, you can see that like Raleigh has the top right now. So if you wanted to now target Raleigh as move to Charlotte, this is a good like indication. Yeah,
People from Raleigh are moving to Charlotte.
yes,
People from Austin, Texas are moving to Charlotte. That's what that's showing me.
I think, yeah, yes. And then let's see where everyone's moving. Oh, people are moving to Raleigh too. Looks like it's going both ways. Makes sense though.
Colorado, oh my God.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Class field trip.
Yeah.
I always think that's interesting. Yeah.
Feel the older people, you know, to retire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then kind of eat.
Well, that is all I had time for. If you have extra time, I can go through how you could do this in like versus I did all KW Tech, but I can show you also my tips and tricks for Canva. If anybody, yeah. I got you, Mama.
Very good.
Oh, I'm glad. Yay. Well, feel free, you just send us one and we do yours. We send your postcards. So you just
Oh,
send
you
us.
do that for me.
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
we do
never
do
mind.
this.
Well.
But thanks for coming.
Yeah, at least I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Now you know the steps we go through. You bet. Perfect. And we'll send it.
Thank you.
That's good.
Right?
I get really good feedback on them. It's
Because that's what other companies way more.
yeah, like a 6x9 is like 91 cents per postcard. And so I'm getting really good feedback from other agents that typically they're paying like over $1 to $1 of a postcard. So it is a little cheaper and it does, yeah, the postage and send out. It's really awesome. Yep. Thanks, Mom.
Sending my stuff out and then having to go pick it up when I can just write it and go.
Target and just, yeah, let them handle it. It's just fantastic. It's one of my favorite tools in Command that I think that not enough agents, I think, utilize it. It's just really cool. Yeah,
Wasn't that like the saddest story of the meeting?
that was, I was in tears. I was, I, c- no, I couldn't, I mean, that is just
Then
the most
find out
terrible.
that the
Yeah,
little
what a
girl she was supposed to
story.
take a
Alright.
picture of.
It breaks my heart, like literally into a million
Is
pieces.
that right, Sunny? You
Good
put
job.
letter? Yes, all right. All right, you do the same.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
I see you guys Friday.
Wow, it's gonna be a good week. It's got all the people.
Get in there, huh, kid?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For those of you online, thank you so much for joining us. And let us know if you have any questions or want to book with us anytime. Thank you.
How do you pronounce